So I was reading a particular passage in the Bible. Maybe you've looked at it too. I wrote down some notes, but I don't really need them. I just wanted, I suppose, just to stay on topic. But that never works out that way. So, passages I am the Lord, your God. And then there's a comma. It's Moses speaking to the Israelites, speaking the Ten Commandments. And yeah, my point is going to expand on the thought of that particular comma. I am the Lord your God, comma, in the context of that and what Moses was about. Moses was always telling the Israelites to stop worshiping false idols, to not put your praise into misplaced areas, into misplaced people. He was a very humble guy, very powerful, but very humble. He's always reprimanding the Israelites, telling them this. So when he comes down and speaks this particular passage, I am the Lord, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of slavery. That comma after God bothered me because I know this was Moses speaking, at least the first time, and then this is spoken periodically after. But he was the first. So why does this stand out to me? Well, because if you read it like that, it's almost as if Moses himself is possessed by something. And what Moses, we can't underestimate Moses, his compassion. Put that comma after Lord instead of God, in my opinion, because, these ancient texts in Hebrew, they didn't have punctuation. So that's why I suppose this is a little audacious, but not misplaced. So this was put afterwards. Maybe it was an accident. But if we put that comma after Lord, it changes the whole context of that speech, and Moses maintains his humility. He's stating, I am the Lord. I am the appointed leader of the Israelites at this time. I am the chief of the tribe. I am the Lord, comma, distinguish. Your God is the one that freed you from slavery, brought you out of the land of Egypt. That makes more sense to me. And then I wanted to get on topic for the Sabbath. Special thing, right? Sunday. I'm not going to dwell on my opinion, so you can just take that as a thought. But moving on. The Sabbath, Sundays. They're very special. We've assigned a lot of faith and intent to this particular day over the last however long, well, let's see, 15 something. I guess we changed calendars. Because before that, the Sabbath was found on a lunar solar calendar, and as soon as the new calendar was adopted, like let's say the new calendar was adopted on a Thursday, the Pope initiated it, and then the next day he would have skipped a whole 10 days. So it would have been like, say it was Thursday the 7th, well, it would have been like Sunday the 17th the next day. So he like skipped forward, so like the Sabbath completely got like screwy. And then with the way the calendar works, every like 200 years there's an extra day added, more or less, to how do I put that? There's an extra day added to the gap of what the original date should be. So like right now, like it's like 13, ominous, and then basically by the end of the century it should be 14 days. Like it skips ahead a full day. So if you wanted to know the real date before we switch calendars, I guess you could say just take today's date and subtract 13 days, and then that's the original date during like the Renaissance. So the Sabbath back then was different. That's all I'm getting at. It was based on a lunar solar calendar, and the Sabbath is also based on, I guess, our observations of the world around us, and that includes the sky, day and night. But those days are very special in the sense that they are vessels. A certain time where everybody's intent comes together, intertwines, and lingers. An atheist mindset could relate in a sense of, if you've ever been to a rock concert, and it doesn't even have to be rock, any kind of concert, big crowds where you just get in the moment with a bunch of people, that's sort of getting into the same wavelength. That's a wisp of what I'm talking about. Religious people know it a little bit more. With certain patterns like the moon, and that's how they based their calendars, everybody understood the concept of instilling intent into specific things at specific times. And that became the Sabbath. Everybody just kind of used that to compress love, compassion. And over the centuries, maybe millennia, over time that energy through the generations just built up, and the day, the Sabbath, just held reverence by itself. It became its own thing because generations of souls had touched it, had embraced it, and gave it meaning to the point where you don't work on Sabbath. And to this day, certain businesses are closed on their perception of the Sabbath. It's held, although the day is kind of off, it's held the same meaning. And it doesn't matter, because even if it changed, because for so long we've been using Sundays on this calendar for so long, and we've essentially built up the same structure of intent and compressed, just, I suppose, participation and compassion. So it's a brand new Sabbath, but it's not the same one. Just a thought. Just a thought. This idea of vessels, compressing our intent on days to make them special, where we have the days off. Might not mean the same thing to everyone right now, but it means something, and it stands out to most people right now. That can't be denied. And I feel the same thing is true of things like that symbol, the cross. Looks like more like a sword to me. That's why I've contemplated it a lot. I prayed on it a lot. a lot. And I don't believe any symbol or emblem could truly encompass the journey I've been on. But sometimes I craft, and you see me wearing this thing a lot. Looks like a cross. It's not. The bottom isn't longer. It's just two spirits dancing right there. Dark, light, you know the symbolism on that. But it's just a crossroads. Two sticks. Like a compass rose. And I contemplated that for a long time. Guidance. Stopped putting my faith into like other vessels that maybe have had their meanings separated by time. Because I started to appreciate the sanctity of this idea. So that energy that I want to put forth misplaced would be, I guess that would be blasphemous. As weird as it is to say a word like that. And a symbol shouldn't necessarily define as an all-encompassing tool. A symbol is a vessel that's passed down as a tool to remember in meditation, in contemplation, in prayer. This middle way I have, it's the middle way of the Craftsman, I call it something else. We can wait for this helicopter to go past. Because that's life. So, this way of the Craftsman is my middle way. I'm a product of Earth, man. I was brought up with a Christian mom and a Catholic dad. Through atheism, through everything. Sat down with every religion, every holy man for every house of worship and every denomination, every expression of that. Not just Judeo-Christian. Sat down and talked. If I saw the love in the heart, the dedication, just that spark, then I knew that I was in the right place. And although politics might separate us a bit, there was something there that I needed to see. And this Craftsman middle way, because all I did was think about these things over and over again my whole life, and I crafted. And through that, things were revealed to me that weren't actually revealed. It goes into what I talk about with vessels. Purpose for them and passing them on as reminders. For example, I have a block of wood from a certain tree. The only reason that's a certain tree